Welcome to Reality Creative Video. I'm Hermes, and I want to talk about what I learned in the last day or so. First, I need to become limitless. It's becoming a ritual with me, I suppose. My colloidal gold, my colloidal zinc. It takes about 30 minutes for the colloidal gold to kick in. So by the end of this video, not that I'll be shooting for 30 minutes, but about 30 minutes I'll be going like crazy. I probably should have took it first before doing the video. But anyway, I promise I won't fall asleep until the limitless kicks in. All right, first, our Basil experiment. Nothing new to report on it. Okay, this is the Basil without colloidals, and this is the Basil with colloidals. Right now, they're looking about in the same condition, basically. So we're going to have to wait more days in order to know something about that. So it's also possible I was actually thinking about it. I've used in the Basil experiment, I poured colloidal defense in there, straight colloidal defense, which is made up of copper, gold, zinc, and silver, and pretty high potency amounts. Not the drinkable amounts. This is the colloidal defense is a topical solution. So I used the colloidal defense. So I was thinking, it's probably like super intense fertilizer that I poured in there. So it's possible I over fertilized the colloidal one, and that might be why it may not actually do well in the long run. So I might have to redo the test with like a not use such a strong amount of colloidal. But I'm going to wait and see what happens with this test. So anyway, I learned an important lesson here. Sort of, or it's been an ongoing thing that I've been investigating. The purity of your distilled water. So, remember we talked about quartz water, and I was going to test quartz water in my colloidals. So I've been doing that for the last week. I've been putting 10 milliliters of this quartz water in each of my colloidals. This is silver that I've just got finished cooking, and it's in the cool down process. The odd thing happened, and when you change one variable in your work, it can have unintended consequences, and sometimes you don't even realize it. So I'm putting the colloidal quartz into my water before I'm cooking my colloidals. And all my colloidals are taking twice as long to cook. A colloidal that would take 45 minutes is taking an hour, over 90 minutes to cook. My colloidal gold, when I did colloidal gold yesterday, now colloidal gold, that cooks in 34 minutes. And that is like a scientific thing, I can cook it to 34 minutes every time. Well, I went and cooked colloidal gold yesterday. It took over 2 hours. I knew something was wrong. And I'm saying, what the heck could be wrong? Why did this take 2 hours to cook? It wasn't that I lost material. I didn't lose material. It just came off very slowly. And it took 2 hours to get a normal ruby red color colloidal. It took 2 hours to get this ruby red color. Normally it takes 34 minutes. And then it dawned on me, I've been putting the crystal water in my colloidals. So, since then, I cooked another batch of gold, and I've cooked, this is my silver batch that I did today, and my cooking times are back to normal. My gold was back to 34 minutes. This is a 16 parts per million crystal silver water, clear batch. which took 45 minutes to cook, which is normal for my time, instead of over 2 hours. So the lesson here is, when you introduce something different, keep it in mind that you've introduced something different. I mean, I just didn't think it was going to make a difference in the colloidal process. Adding the quartz. I figured it would enhance the process, make the quartz more energetic, but it actually blocked the process. So we cannot use crystal water in our distilled water, which brings me back to the quality of your distilled water. And something else I've been working on in the last couple weeks that I haven't actually commented on, and that is, all distilled water is not created equal. Even your own distilled water, my own distilled water. And so what I have here, this is Walmart distilled water. This is probably the purest distilled water I've found so far. More pure than my own distilled water. The other distilled water I sampled is Zephyr Hills distilled water. That's almost as pure as the Walmart water. And what it brings to mind is that to really stabilize your cooking of your colloidals, you need the purest distilled water going. Even my distilled water is far from pure, and while it doesn't, distilling my own water doesn't seem to impact my colloidals. There's something in my distilled water that is not in the commercial distilled water, and they must have a different distillation process than I have, probably, right? And I've tried various filters and things like that to clean up my water before I distill it, but afterwards I still have these, I'm calling them VOCs, in the water. And VOCs, and no matter what I do, I can't seem to get rid of the VOCs. Even putting through a carbon filtration and then redistilling it, but I mean, it hasn't affected the cooking of my colloidals. Whatever these things are, as long as you cook your colloidals to 10 parts per million or more, these VOCs, or wherever they are in the water, disappear. It's like the electrolysis process chases them out of the water. But I can't get them out of the water to begin with. So, I mean, for me, I think what I'm going to do is probably switch to store-bought water, just because my experiments are so critical, and sometimes I require really clean water in order to get good pictures on the video microscope. So, I mean, your water has to be clean in order to be able to see what's going on. So I'm switching to store-bought Walmart water, which I will check every gallon before I actually use it. I check it with the TDS meter, of course, to make sure that it reads 0 TDS, and then check it on the video microscope to make sure that it is, in fact, free of as free of VOCs as possible, and it's pure water. So that's what I'm going to do for the future until I can figure out what's going on with my distillation process and why I can't get rid of these things. Somehow the big distillation guys are doing something way different from what me and you were doing when we're distilling our water. So I've talked to my chemist about it, and she has some theories. And when I get more concrete evidence on those theories, I will discuss them in a future show. So let's see. This is just my brief thing today on what I discovered. Figured I'd get that. I can only get this up until my internet comes back. I have fiber optic internet, and it's really fantastic internet service, but it goes down quite a lot. And when it goes down, can't upload videos, can't download videos. The only thing I got is internet, like everybody else has, phone internet, which is no good for any of that stuff. So anyway, thank you very much for watching my videos, and I will report to you in a few days on other stuff that's going on. I have some of the videos in mind I want to do. Hopefully I get around to doing them today, being I don't have any internet to actually do internet stuff. So I'm Hermes, Reality Creative Video, and I will talk to you again soon.